What's up everyone and welcome back to MMA Talk. During a recent media interview ahead of Fight Week, UFC interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall made it clear that he's not particularly interested in facing Alex Pereira or Jon Jones, at least, not right now. While many fans have been calling for blockbuster matchups between these elite names, Aspinall emphasized that his focus remains on the integrity of the sport and the traditional path of championship competition. The conversation began with a question highlighting a long-standing theme throughout Aspinall's career: the challenge of finding opponents willing to face him. Even before he joined the UFC, he often struggled to secure fights because many competitors simply didn't want to take the risk. That trend, it seems, has continued even now, despite his status as one of the top heavyweights in the world. The interviewer pointed out that even as the reigning champion, Aspinall finds himself in a peculiar position. Top-tier fighters like Jon Jones and Alex Pereira appear more interested in fighting each other than facing him. This raised an interesting question: did Aspinall ever imagine he'd reach a point in his career where he would hold a UFC title, yet still find the biggest names in the sport looking elsewhere? Aspinall responded calmly and professionally, displaying the composure and humility that have become hallmarks of his character. "No," he said, "there are still plenty of guys who want to fight me, maybe not the bigger names, but that's fine. Those guys have earned the right to make their own choices. They've done enough in the sport to do whatever they want." Rather than showing frustration, Aspinall's words reflected understanding and respect toward both Jones and Pereira. He acknowledged their accomplishments while reaffirming his own commitment to the traditional championship structure. "I'm the champion," he explained. "I fight the #1 contender. That's how I believe champions are supposed to operate. You fight the next best guy, you prove that you're the best, and you keep doing that for as long as possible." This philosophy captures the essence of Aspinall's mindset, one rooted in merit, discipline, and sportsmanship rather than chasing headlines or superfights. For him, being a true champion isn't about hand-picking opponents or pursuing big-money matchups. It's about defending the title against whoever earns the right to challenge for it. His comments also subtly highlight the current dynamic within the UFC's heavyweight and light heavyweight divisions. Jon Jones, the reigning heavyweight champion, has been sidelined with injury and has shown little interest in facing Aspinall, despite fan demand for the matchup. Meanwhile, Alex Pereira, the newly crowned two-division champion, has been teasing potential moves up in weight, but his focus seems fixed on Jones rather than Aspinall. Aspinall's mature outlook sets him apart from many of his peers. Instead of chasing clout or trying to provoke his rivals into accepting a fight, he's content to let his performances and rankings speak for themselves. His focus remains steady, to prove, time and again, that he is the best heavyweight on the planet through consistent competition. In an era where callouts, trash talk, and hype often overshadow merit, Tom Aspinall's words serve as a reminder of what it truly means to be a champion: grounded, focused, and ready to face whoever stands next in line. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. In a recent interview with Mike Bone on The Bonfire, former interim lightweight champion Dustin Poirier shared his thoughts on a potential blockbuster matchup between Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira for the BMF Baddest Mother title ***. Following Oliveira's impressive victory over Mateusz Gamrot at UFC Rio, the Brazilian called out Holloway for a shot at the symbolic belt, a matchup that has since sparked major excitement across the MMA community. When asked about the fight, Poirier didn't hesitate to express his enthusiasm. "I'm a huge fan of that matchup," he said. "Max versus Charles, I'm a fan of both guys, and I know it's going to be a great fight." The Louisiana native, who has shared the octagon with both Holloway and Oliveira, spoke with the insight of someone who understands their skill sets intimately. Poirier praised both fighters for their toughness, heart, and elite-level striking, but ultimately leaned toward Max Holloway as his pick to win. "I really like both guys," he continued, "but I've got to go with Max. His output, his willingness to stand there and throw shots, that's just who he is. Charles might get him down at some point, but I think Max will probably get back to his feet. If I had to make a pick right now, I'd go with Max." Dustin's reasoning is rooted in Holloway's trademark pressure and relentless pace, attributes that have defined his career and helped him capture the featherweight title in the past. Poirier believes Holloway's volume and endurance would create serious problems for Oliveira, who has sometimes struggled when opponents push him to the brink in striking exchanges. However, Poirier also gave credit where it was due, acknowledging Oliveira's recent resurgence in grappling dominance. He admitted that Charles's win over Mateusz Gamrot surprised him, particularly given the circumstances of Oliveira's quick return from a tough loss to Islam Makhachev. "I was shocked by Charles's win," Poirier admitted. "I didn't see it coming. I really thought Gamrot was going to test his chin more, especially after that devastating loss. But Charles was a blanket. He completely smothered my guy. I honestly thought that would be almost impossible to do." Poirier explained that he expected the fight to play out differently, anticipating a back-and-forth war. Instead, Oliveira overwhelmed Gamrot with relentless pressure and precision, reminding everyone why he remains one of the most dangerous submission artists and finishers in UFC history. "I'm still in awe of that performance," fans, Poirier added. Not that I didn't think Charles could win, I just didn't think it would happen in such a dominant way. As for a potential Holloway vs Oliveira fight, Poirier sees it as one of the most exciting stylistic clashes possible. Holloway's boxing, durability, and constant forward motion would meet Oliveira's slick jiu-jitsu and improving striking in a high-stakes, fan-friendly battle for the BMF belt. It's a matchup that blends technique, toughness, and legacy, two former champions with something to prove. Ultimately, Poirier summed up the anticipation perfectly. It's just one of those fights where you know you're going to get fireworks. Both guys bring it every time. If the UFC does book Max Holloway vs Charles Oliveira for the BMF title, fans will witness a thrilling collision between two of the most respected and battle-tested warriors in MMA, a fight that could easily go down as one of the greatest of the year. Move on to another news. In a surprising twist that caught the MMA world's attention, Jack Della Maddalena, JDM, reportedly received advice from none other than Conor McGregor ahead of his rumored fight with Islam Makhachev. While it remains unclear whether the message truly came from McGregor himself or was part of an elaborate online prank, the content of the advice perfectly captured McGregor's trademark bravado and confidence, the kind that has defined Mystic Mac throughout his career. According to reports, McGregor, or someone impersonating him, sent a message offering tactical and motivational advice to Della Maddalena. Ask him some advice against Islam, the message began. He will be light work at this weight. No finishing capability or positional awareness whatsoever. He is a backpack at best. Nothing to fear. Fear not. Patience, fitness, and ferocity, and he is sparked unconscious inside the five. Whether genuine or not, the message perfectly mimicked McGregor's trademark tone, bold, unapologetic, and filled with confidence. The statement described Makhachev as a one-dimensional fighter who relies too heavily on grappling and positional control, rather than finishing ability or striking dominance. The advice emphasized staying composed, maintaining cardio, and waiting for the right opportunity to capitalize, a mindset McGregor himself has often preached throughout his career. Fans quickly reacted to the viral clip, with many debating its authenticity. Some suggested it was clearly a parody created for entertainment, while others believed it might have been a genuine message McGregor sent privately or playfully. Either way, the idea of McGregor giving advice to one of the UFC's fastest rising contenders only added to the buzz surrounding JDM's potential matchup with Makhachev. Meanwhile, in another major MMA story this week, Reinier de Ridder, RDR, the former One Championship 2 Division titleholder, officially broke his silence following his recent loss to Brendan Allen in the UFC. The defeat was a tough one, as RDR's corner threw in the towel midway through the fight, signaling the end of a difficult night for the Dutch fighter. After the bout, RDR's coach publicly took responsibility, admitting that his fighter had not been at his physical best going into the contest. A few days later, RDR himself addressed the loss on Instagram, offering a heartfelt statement that reflected both humility and perspective. "I was not the best fighter in the cage Saturday, and it stings," RDR wrote. "But next to all the crazy highs, I'm also grateful to experience the lows. So many people go through life at a constant 6 to 10, but as a fighter, we get to experience the full range of emotions." He went on to admit that he had overtrained during his last two fight camps. "I tend to work more and harder than anybody else," he said. "But over the last two camps, I might have exaggerated a little bit. I was so focused on getting that title and being ready once the chance came that I failed to listen to my body. And last Saturday, that showed." RDR concluded by reassuring fans that he plans to recover and return stronger. "I shall not stray from the course," he said. "But Daddy is taking some time off. Kids, I was not myself, but I will be again. If you know me, you know what I'm coming for. Be nice out there, and see you soon." The message, paired with a short video reflecting on his performance, demonstrated RDR's mental strength and maturity. His acknowledgement of overtraining and emotional fatigue resonated deeply with fans, reminding everyone of the mental and physical toll that elite-level MMA competition demands. As for what comes next, both Jack Della Maddalena and Reinier de Ridder find themselves at pivotal moments, JDM possibly preparing for the biggest fight of his career against Islam Makhachev, and RDR taking time to rebuild before making another run toward championship gold. Move on to another news. Former UFC champion and current commentator Daniel Cormier has found himself at the center of controversy once again, this time after a recent video clip surfaced that sparked significant backlash from the MMA community. The footage, which appeared to show Cormier making biased or unprofessional remarks during commentary, quickly spread across social media, drawing harsh criticism from fans and analysts alike. According to many online reactions, viewers accused Cormier of being massively unprofessional and disrespectful toward the fighters he was supposed to be covering impartially. Some fans claimed that his commentary showed clear favoritism, suggesting that DC's tone and comments reflected personal biases rather than objective analysis. "This is a bad look for DC and for MMA broadcasting as a whole," one fan wrote. "It almost looks preferential, which is the last thing you want to see from a commentator in a professional setting." Others took their criticism further, arguing that Cormier's alleged bias might be influenced by his personal history and rivalries within the sport. One comment read, "DC is so out of pocket. I wouldn't be surprised if he said something behind the scenes to Tom Aspinall about Jon Jones. DC still hopes someone can do to Jones what he never could. This remark referred to Cormier's long-standing rivalry with Jones, which remains one of the most infamous feuds in UFC history. The accusations didn't stop there. Many fans called Cormier fake and claimed that his attitude toward fighters often changes depending on their success or relationship with him. If he meets Jailton Almeida now, he'll be glazing him into oblivion, one viewer quipped, implying that DC tends to switch opinions quickly based on public sentiment. Another added, if I were Jailton, I'd be furious. DC's commentary has been all over the place, he's lost credibility. Some critics even went as far as calling for Cormier's removal from the UFC commentary team. DC sucks in so many ways, one comment read, I wish he'd get dropped from the desk. He's lost all respect among his peers. You can't trust him to be objective anymore. While it's unclear which specific comments or moments in the footage triggered the outrage, the incident has reignited a broader discussion about commentator professionalism in MMA. Fans have long debated whether certain analysts, especially former fighters, can remain unbiased when covering athletes they fought, trained with, or personally dislike. In Cormier's case, this is not the first time he has faced criticism for perceived favoritism or emotional involvement during broadcasts. Over the years, some fans have accused him of showing favoritism toward American fighters or those from his own training circles. However, others have defended him, noting that his enthusiasm and personality bring energy to UFC broadcasts, even if it occasionally crosses into opinionated territory. Interestingly, Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion mentioned in some of the comments, has reportedly reacted to the viral clip as well. While Aspinall's response hasn't been officially released, fans are speculating that he may address the situation in an upcoming interview or social media post. For now, the backlash serves as a reminder of how closely MMA fans scrutinize the actions of commentators, especially those with deep personal ties to the sport. As one observer put it, DC's passion is what makes him great, but when that passion crosses into bias, it undermines his credibility. Whether Cormier chooses to address the criticism directly remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the MMA community will be watching closely to see how he responds, and whether the UFC makes any statement regarding the situation. Move on to another news. In a recent interview with Brian Campbell, rising bantamweight contender Umar Nurmagomedov opened up about the hand injury he suffered during his grueling 5-round battle against Merab Dvalishvili at UFC 311. The highly anticipated fight ended in a unanimous decision victory for Dvalishvili, marking Umar's first professional loss, a setback that he later revealed was heavily influenced by a significant injury sustained early in the bout. Shortly after the fight, Umar's manager posted a photo of his swollen and visibly broken hand, confirming the severity of the injury. According to Nurmagomedov, the fracture occurred in the first round, drastically impacting his performance and overall energy levels as the fight went on. When asked whether fatigue played a major role in his defeat, Umar explained that while both fighters were tired, his injury made the situation much more difficult. To be honest, I don't think I was more tired than Merab, he said. But when you break something in your body starts reacting immediately. It releases adrenaline, tries to protect the injury, and redirects energy to start healing. That takes a lot out of you. So, I think that's why I felt more tired, not because of the pace, but because my body was trying to fix itself. The 28-year-old Dagestani fighter went on to praise Dvalishvili's incredible cardio and toughness, acknowledging that the Georgian contender lived up to his reputation as one of the most relentless pressure fighters in the UFC. He's good, Umar said plainly. We can't say he's not good. A lot of things happened in that fight, and I respect him. But next time, I will close a lot of questions. Despite the loss, Umar's composure and honesty stood out. Rather than offering excuses, he provided insight into the physical and mental challenges that come with fighting through serious injuries on the sport's biggest stage. His remarks also reflected the signature humility and discipline of the Nurmagomedov fighting family, which includes his legendary cousin Khabib Nurmagomedov. Throughout the interview, Umar emphasized that his focus now is on recovery and preparation for what he believes will be a future rematch with Dvalishvili. He remains confident that a fully healthy version of himself could produce a very different result. I think next time, people will see who I really am in there, he said. A lot of questions will be answered. Analysts and fans alike have already begun to speculate about what a second meeting between the two could look like. Many believe that a rematch between Dvalishvili's relentless pace and Umar's technical precision would be one of the most compelling stylistic matchups in the bantamweight division. Umar's performance, even while injured, showed glimpses of his elite skill set, from slick grappling exchanges to composed striking under pressure. His ability to survive 5 rounds with one of the division's most suffocating wrestlers while battling a broken hand speaks volumes about his toughness and potential as a future title contender. As the young Nurmagomedov looks ahead, fans are eager to see how he bounces back from adversity. With proper healing and a renewed drive, Umar Nurmagomedov could soon re-establish himself as a leading force in the UFC's bantamweight division and perhaps, in time, earn a chance to rewrite the story against Merab Dvalishvili once more.